Hello, party people. Welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show where we talk about the other shows. In this case, The Mandalorian. I'm joined by a Fab Four: Danielle, Joe, Lon. Hello. You're my bad bunch. My New Republic squad. So we're gonna talk about Mando today, season 2. We already did season 1, and I'll give it a one-word review of season 2. It's good. I liked it. What say you?
I did not like the very end. I liked everything until the last 7 minutes,
Last Jedi.
9 minutes. Yeah, the Last Jedi. I know that's a divisive. Like a lot of people, that was like all they've ever wanted from Star Wars, and it made all of their dreams come true. That was the moment to me where it felt like too much. I really like the balance of new adventure, episodic, week-to-week Star Wars adventures, and then like little flavors, sprinklings of references to other things around the universe. I think they're really doing a good job with that balance. And then I think Luke teetered it over the edge to me.
Okay, does one Luke spoil a series for you two guys?
I didn't say it spoiled the series. I didn't like that moment. I liked everything else.
Well, Lon hated it. Danielle, what do you think?
I really liked it. Just like with the first season, it's, I like the Star Wars. I'm not real big on deep Star Wars lore. And so for me, it still kept me really engaged. And even though, we do make fun of like, oh, it's a bunch of backdoor pilots, it works out perfectly just because of the way that they'd already set it up in season 1. So none of that bothered me. I really, really enjoyed season 2. Looking forward to all the stuff that comes up next.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I thought stakes went up nicely, and I'm sure we've got multiple opportunities to get into it in when we watch this on a trailer. But really, yeah, the only times it felt clumsy at all was when it was like setting up a new show. But is small complaint. Gamorreans wrestled in the first episode. They had Gamorrean blood sport. That's fun. So I can't complain about a show that gave me Gamorreans dim mocking each other with vibro axes.
Can't complain about a Gamorrean dim mock. That old chestnut. There were two moments where I thought it overstepped into like just overt fan service, and I thought Luke was one of them. And I thought just the name drop of Thrawn kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I thought that you could totally, if that was the first time you saw Ahsoka or really a lot of the guest stars, that's fine. That's fine, a fine introduction to them. But to just drop Thrawn like it meant something to a newcomer, no.
And even that, you could have just said, "Where is he?" And then YouTube would have spent the next 2 years going, "Who's he?" and like freaking out. Like they could have done the mystery there. Yeah, that was one of the just weird moments where the script becomes not organic things people would say, but they need to set up a thing. Yeah. Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn, fan favorite character from the EU, and who will play him? Like,
Right. It was, it was that. It's that they didn't want the discussion to be who is he. They wanted it to be what it is right now, which is exactly this, like, who's going to play Thrawn and how are they going to integrate him? And I agree. It's a little clumsy with that stuff, but none of it really bothered me. I was really into the show, and I loved the Robert Rodriguez episode where it's like they're on the planet and Baby Yoda, who I'm still going to call Baby Yoda, he's communing with mystery Jedi somewhere out there. And it's like Boba Fett and they're taking on all of these stormtroopers. And like, that to me is the essence of what this show can be. And it was so much fun. And it ties into the lore. You get to see Boba Fett be cool, but it's doing its own thing. And it felt like an original. To me, that's like perfect peak Mandalorian. Like that's what I want from the show. And it largely delivered on that in season 2.
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, it's a long trailer. Why don't we just dive right into it? Because I know we'll all have a lot to say every 30 seconds. So let's play the honest trailer for The Mandalorian. And as I forgot to mention, if we remember, we'll show some deleted scenes afterwards. So let's start with this one.
Make it so. Like they say in Star Wars.
Different franchise.
Fresh from Disney's content mines in Outer Burbankia comes season 2 of a show that's either the greatest thing we've ever seen, or live-action Star Wars has lowered our expectations so much, basic competence feels like seeing the face of God.
I can already see us getting crap for the moments we chose and for not including any of the Last Jedi and the moments that ruined Star Wars. But you can only pick 4, and I think you could make a case for maybe the blue milk, if that's not to your taste, as like a top 10 maybe. But I don't know. I think that nothing from The Last Jedi for me tops Snoke in a jar, sand, it gets everywhere, Jar Jarring out, and Rey and Kylo making out.
Oh, you're gonna
If we hadn't
Raylos.
If you hadn't included Jar of Snokes, I might have quit in protest. That's number 1 with a bullet.
There was someone in the comments who was like, I can't believe you didn't include Luke drinking green milk, which prompted me to really wonder, what color should the milk have been for you to be happy?
Luke
what
drinking
color should
strangely colored milk is core Star. That happens early in the first ever Star Wars movie. How can you possibly object to that? That's more fundamental to Star Wars than lightsabers.
I don't know. I thought that
the teat is the problem.
It's the teat.
Where do you think milk comes from, baby?
problematic teeth.
Yeah, it's something that we just all shut out. I don't think about, putting a spike through a cow's brain when I eat a burger. I don't want to know where my milk comes from.
You may as well be sucking on a teat if you're drinking milk. It's all teat oriented at the beginning.
Star Wars. It's all teat oriented.
We're all sucking that Star Wars teat.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Keep going.
Yeah, we are.
More live-action Star Wars has lowered our expectations so much, basic competence feels like seeing the face of God. It's glorious. The Mandalorian, Season 2. Suit up for more Mandalorian, the show that combined the world of Star Wars, the feel of old samurai films, and the emotional core of Reddit's r/aw community. Aw, in a winning mix that keeps things simple and doesn't overstay its welcome. So you can be sure as Sith they'll launch enough spin-offs to kill the magic for good next year. There's a reason we don't eat birthday cake every day, Disney. Keep feeding us the same thing and we will
can
reject
just pause
it.
here. I think that the spin-offs thing, it's a fine point that we were trying to make, which is that I don't think that the spin-offs killed this season, but now I think next season they're going to kill it. Now I think they're really going to choke us with this kind of Star Wars content. I don't think this can support 3 or 4, if you include Obi-Wan and maybe more, shows in a similar vein in the same universe, kind of dealing with the same themes. I don't think we can take 4 live-action Western ripoffs.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying here, which is they're spreading it thin, and some of these shows may suffer as a result. But I actually think this might be good for the core Mandalorian show, that they can, a lot of this setup stuff is going to be taken over by other shows, and season 3 can focus back on Din and Jaren and his adventures, and if all of this had to be contained in the world of the Mandalorian by seasons 4 or 5, we would be getting this crazy huge show with all of these threads to follow. I'm looking forward to season 3 to see can we take this story about him and get it back to, I'm assuming he's going to be, because they're not getting their own spinoff, and this is just my assumption, that Bo-Katan and the retaking Mandalore is going to become the core Mandalorian story.
Yeah,
because they're not getting a spinoff.
Yeah.
If they were getting their own spinoff, I'd be like, who knows what he's up to?
I mean, it's not going to be the Luke and Grogu daycare saga.
No.
Which
I would watch.
I feel like maybe the end of season 3 we'll get what's happening with Grogu. Let's check in. But I'm actually I'm curious to see if the spinoff thing improves the core show Mandalorian or spreads everything too thin, like you're suggesting.
Anyways, let's keep going.
The same thing, and we will reject it. Unless it's Marvel, or animated musicals, or Pixar movies about giving up on your dreams. Okay, fine, you win. Stuff my mouth full of cake, Mouse Daddy. Rejoin the Mandalorian, the galaxy's most dangerous never-nude. But this time, he'll break his only rule about giving face, as he quests to deliver this tiny meme generator over to a Jedi, all while bonding ever deeper with Baby Yoda over their shared love of murder.
All right, pause. Are we going to have Frog's Eggs discourse or not? We can choose to skip it.
We don't have to.
Do we have to rehash Frog's Eggs discourse? We'll put it to a vote. All who want to discuss Frog's Eggs, raise your hand. Okay, we're gonna just move on past that.
Just plow. Let's just plow forward.
You don't have to talk about everything. So we're just gonna glide on past Frog's Eggs
They were
controversy.
so sure it was just gonna be cute and hilarious. Let's just go with it. Let's just say
Yeah.
it's cute and hilarious.
Let's sail right past.
And yes,
okay,
we know his
moving
name
on.
isn't technically Baby Yoda anymore.
Grogu?
But let's stick with Baby Yoda.
Grogu.
Baby Yoda.
Little sounds he
Grogu.
makes.
Baby Yoda.
Grogu.
He's the secret love child of Yoda and Yaddle, okay? Clap them cheeks, Yoda did. Canon, that is. Are you ready to watch
Good
some
reading
space
by
cops
John.
make some deals with each other? Then you'll thrill when Mando makes a deal with this Marshal
Help me kill it, I'll give you the armor.
Deal.
and strikes a deal with the Tusken Raiders for help.
We have struck a deal.
But when a deal goes wrong on the way to finding a Jedi,
Lady, the deal is off. This was not part of the deal.
he'll try to forge a deal with some fellow Mandalorians
You're changing the terms of the deal.
and cut a quick deal with Ming-Na
I owe you from last time.
We have a deal.
before he wraps up that deal with her and Boba Fett.
Yeah,
deal is
pause.
complete.
Danielle, I think you pointed this out. It's like that. What's that children's story that this is like?
I think it's like this is the house that Jack built.
Yeah.
But just like this is the deal that makes the Grogu that gets the Luke in the house that Din
Yeah.
built. Like that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, like that was my issue with Rise of Skywalker, but for whatever reason, maybe because it's a TV series and they just have more time to let it breathe. Like I don't mind the long scavenger hunt. It didn't feel as like frenetic and like, oh, go from A to B to C to D to E. It worked. So go
I
figure.
feel like I'm more aware of it now because of video games. Like it's such a cheap make the video game longer device. Like go get this thing to go get that thing to get the key to open the chest to get the scroll that has the spell that you need to get. Like that's what it kind of feels like. But I don't mind it. That's what these shows are like. Like what else? You know, he's on a bunch of fetch quests. That's the show.
Yeah. And like, I mean, he's a bounty hunter. It kind of lends itself
Yeah,
to
like-
go fetch this thing and bring it back.
I mean, in the 50s and 60s, like every show was basically just this. It was just like Fetch Quest the series, and it was just like Paladin, go to this town, stop them ranchers from stealing from those other ranchers. Like, you know, it worked for decades. Why not now?
Yeah. All right, keep going.
Lead.
That's in addition to any bargains, promises, or propositions he'll make along the way.
We can strike a bargain. You made me a promise, and I held up my end.
I have a proposition that may interest you.
Then what's in it for me?
Screw credits. The real currency of Star Wars is the pinky swear. Remember all the interesting and original side characters you met last season? They're back, at least for now. But they'll make room for all new faces. And by new, I mean really old. Like
Yeah,
the most
pause. Why is Boba Fett so old now?
I don't think it's so much that he's old. It's that a Rancor was digesting, not a Rancor, a
Sarlacc.
Sarlacc was digesting him for like a long time, and he's got digest face.
Resting digest face.
Resting digest face.
Boba's
After you get out of that Sarlacc pit, you look a little like powder.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, I was just curious, like what that makes more sense than some type of hyper advanced aging situation. That's what you look like when you crawl out of a Sarlacc pit.
But he does
But
have.
no,
a
did anyone
weird-
ever ask how he got out?
No, I mean that's a sensitive subject, Spencer. Like, like that. You wouldn't want me to just be like, "Hey, by the way, remember when you were digested for ages?"
I think it'd be a reasonable question upon showing up. Hey, how'd you
Well-
get out of that pit? If
Well,
I fell into a pit.
I think they've kind of teased this because in the season 1 premiere, they mentioned that the crate dragon that they're attacking, it's living in a Sarlacc pit and it ate the Sarlacc.
Mhm.
So perhaps the dragon came and attacked the Sarlacc, and that is how.
And it was like a Boba Fett turducken, like a dragon, a Sarlacc, and a Boba.
And he
Look,
like
guys.
scrambled out while the thing was being,
It's-
its attention was elsewhere.
It's like Qui-Gon Jinn said in the Phantom Menace. There's always a bigger fish. It's poetry. guys.
It rhymes.
It rhymes.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Boo.
I'd like to think that Qui-Gon appeared as a Force Ghost to Boba Fett while he's being digested. Like, my friend, now is your moment.
There's always a bigger fish, Boba. Okay, keep going.
Like
The
Ringo
most popular
Starr.
characters from the Clone Wars series, the most popular character from Empire Strikes Back, and the most popular character from Star Wars. It's official. No one in Star Wars gets to die or retire anymore. This season's most meaningful death was when they killed off a merchandising opportunity.
The tech just isn't there yet for the faces. It's just not there.
So enjoy this action-packed journey.
It wasn't even just that it was a weird PlayStation 2 face. It was like everything around, because I mean, we learned after the fact that like the actors didn't know who it was going to be. So everyone's just saying these general vague lines so that they can pop in whatever. So it was just so like the whole show is so like organic and character driven and tightly written. And then like you just get this weird scene of people saying like vague like Skyrim dialogue selections, and it just, and then here's a shot of R2 but that doesn't mean anything. Like at no point has the show just been like, here's a shot that's just for the fans. Like it's stuff that we get and appreciate, but like at no point did anyone on the water planet talk about traps and then like wink at the camera. But like all of a sudden you just have this like fan service shot of R2 and Grogu just like loving on each other, and it's just like none of this means anything to anyone standing in that room. And it was
okay, so maybe this is actually taking place like after the Jedi Temple was purged, and this is like Yoda doing like a WandaVision where like he's created this false reality where like he's back in his like he's only 50 years old and like he's going on cool adventures and Luke's there and everyone's having a good time.
I don't hate that. Actually.
Yeah, I like this better than WandaVision.
Because he just can't stand the tragedy that the whole Jedi Order got slaughtered under his watch.
And he's just like he's pretending to be a kid, and he's like, I don't want responsibility, Dad. Yeah.
What bugs me about the scene is like it's the payoff moment of Mandalorian and Grogu. Like we've spent the whole show developing this relationship. This is their big emotional goodbye, and then it's overshadowed by like cameo walk-on from the original movies, and it's like no, like that scene should belong to them. Like I almost feel like it should have been a character we don't know yet, just so that the focus doesn't leave the heart of the show, which it totally does, because in that moment you're like piecing together the timeline and he's gonna take him to Jedi Academy and is Kylo Ren gonna kill Grogu and like all that stuff. It's distracting.
Yeah, silly season. All right, keep going.
Oh, my collectible! So enjoy this action-packed journey alongside a hardened killer with a heart of gold and a soft baby with a heart of darkness, as Favreau and Filoni deliver the second-best Star Wars experience ever made for television. But you all know what's still number one. No, not Clone
Here
Wars.
it comes. So glad I got this in.
No, not Rebels. I'm talking about the intro to the Droids cartoon. Come on.
Yeah. I'm in trouble again.
Oh man, that's such a bop.
Trouble again.
Starring
Stuart Copeland of the
Daft
Police.
Punk.
I do want to point out that this is a big moment in Honest Trailers history, because as long as I have known you, I've known your love of Trouble Again. Go to the Droids cartoon. Yeah. And so this is a big moment.
I like to think it was like semi-organic. I mean, I will say I was at a complete loss for how to end this script. So when in doubt, I turned to Trouble Again.
Trouble Again from Droids. The love theme from Droids.
It revealed the way to you, and I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't get us in trouble. I like to think that Stuart Copeland has better things to do, or whatever company polices these sort of things.
He does not.
Well, it's worth it. We're going down with that song. All right, keep going.
Starring Daft Punk, my buddy.
Wherever I go, he goes.
Ranger of the New Republicans, Dawson's Geek, Princess Leia, Agents of Shand, Lone Wolf with Club, Moff Diver, Darkness, No Parents, Red Sox leader standing by, Goo.
A lot of goo.
Stormtroopers giving themselves away.
I mean, this is an all-time classic. They love to do it.
Man, this is real expensive.
Why do I feel like their communicators are projecting outside of their helmets?
It's also they're never yelling like important things. They're like, "Okay, let's go." You know, it's like yo, we can see that you're going. You don't need to say that.
I've been thinking about going vegetarian.
Yeah, it's never vital.
The Mandalorians.
It cannot cut through pure Beskar.
Beskar is ours.
Beskar.
Pure Beskar.
Unreasonably convenient maps and blueprints.
This is a map of Tatooine before the war. You got Mos Eisley, Mos Espa, and up around this region, Mos Pelgo.
We're here. This entire area is the green zone.
This world doesn't even have email.
But over on this side is the problem.
It's also they never have to like type in a bunch to get the map they need is always like right there, ready to go. Like somebody set it up in advance for that.
It is.
Great tech.
Can't be,
Great
that's too
tech.
big.
If your 98 Civic hatchback was a spaceship.
I love that decision to not give Mando like the coolest fighter you've ever seen. Like, no, he doesn't care. He drives like a big bucket of bolts.
This game it's really
And
jacked
my
up
deep
this
fake killed
season.
other droid standing guard. The Masked Slinger.
Says here you're from Alderaan. Did you lose anyone?
That's such a dumb question.
I laughed
Yeah, Chief.
out loud.
I guess she did.
Like, I knew that was going to be an honest trailer joke the very first time I watched Mando Season 2, and he said that. I'm like, did you lose anyone on Alderaan?
Yeah.
There's no way you saved anyone. Nowhere
Oh,
to go. Whole planet blew up.
If we can back up to the title shot, Holtby outdid himself.
oh yeah.
He did such a good job on the Mando season 2 stuff. I think Ryan mentioned we were even like, you can just use the last one, the season 1. And he said, no, I'm an artist, and
Yes.
and knocked these out of the park.
He made new graphics by hand.
It's ridiculous.
He's
It's not
he's
as
so
he does
insanely
end all
talented.
his emails with "I am an artist." So,
I am an artist. he's better than we deserve. He's really he give him his props because man, he every single week he creates an entirely new typeface and animation and all this stuff for our dumb puns, for the dumbest puns we can think of.
I know it's really. I feel bad sometimes. I'm doing such stupid jokes, and he's making them look visually beautiful.
Thank you guys for watching to this point. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you haven't, hit the bell if you haven't. And come back to this channel tomorrow for SJU and Friday for the episode 5 review of WandaVision by Roth and Eric. And with that out of the way, let's see what didn't make it into the trailer. I will remember to show the outtakes this week, so show them outtakes.
So you can be sure as Sith they'll launch enough spin-offs to kill the magic for good next year. Called it because it was a hit. They're probably about to weigh it down with a bunch of lore crossovers and spin-offs. This is the way. Why am I not surprised they forced some ghoulish young Luke doll on us? No one in the show got to die this year.
This on the last second rescues.
I'm gonna kill your pet.
Yeah, even that little ferret guy.
Yeah.
Don't.
Where was this energy for Quill, huh? And the most popular character from Star Wars. Called it. Who spent 8 episodes wondering why Luke Skywalker wasn't in the Boba Fett show. Starring War Machine. Dinjarin doo-da, Dinjarin day. There's no way that this man smells good. Terrible 52s. Million credit baby. Yiddle. Gogurt. Careful you don't get cancelled. Dune Patrol. Gina Carrickpot. Bookum Tano. I want a girl with a short skirt and a long leku. Bow-nosed sabers. Ming-Na, I've got you all in check. Do you know who my father is? Crazy Gideon. Giancarlo Exposition. Good Bill Hunting. Boston Strongarm. The Empire runs on Duncan. Walking.
feel like you could say there's a lot of walking in most film.
Yeah.
More walking.
It's a lot of shots of him just walking through these environments. Like, it's cool. I don't mind it, but there's a lot. More than average.
And Luke it from orbit. Only wait to be sure. And Luke sky melting. And playing Jedi Fallen Order on a PS3. And better Luke next time.
Jeez.
3 mercs and a baby. Raising Ariota. Mando and the Backdoor Pilots. The Sad Batch. Yes, Baby Yoda eats the frog lady's unborn children, but look at what the rest of the galaxy calls food. Ugh.
You drink it. It stinks. By Creed.
Why did this Luke scene feel so weird? Oh, because their scene partner was the marketing department. Got it.
There you go. Yes, we unintentionally entered frog-eating discourse.
Oh no!
Wow.
We did it.
Thank God that got cut. Jeez. Who wants to be part of that?
Back out.
Frogs. Should they have put-
yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Should they have just gone ahead and because they're gonna make a Luke show at some point? Should they have just taken the swing and had Bucky Barnes or whatever his name is come in and be like, "Hi, it's me, Luke Skywalker."
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just recast. Find some cool actor who's around now who's roughly the same age. It's just like throw them in there. Like I also thought in Rogue One, Charles Dance would have been a great Moff Tarkin. You don't need to do Peter
I don't want them to
Cushing
do that to
effects
people anymore. I don't like it.
Yeah, like just recast it with somebody who looks the part and is cool that we like, and that'll work.
Yeah, I think we're 5 years away from being 5 years away from being able to raise the dead digitally. And that's probably for the best. So we got some questions. This is a pre-tape. We were having some live difficulties, but we did manage to get a few questions in. And wow, these are really long questions. I'm just going to read them blind. I hope they make sense. You ready? All right. Crossbones6732 writes, is this show really action-packed? I mean, the Empire is literally no threat. They can't even pretend that's the case when characters in-universe laugh at how easy it is to kill them. If victory is a foregone conclusion and I could just skip to the end on the assumption the good guys win with no casualties, where's the tension? Love the series, but season 3 needs to introduce someone actually intimidating who scores a win a few times. So was the Empire not menacing enough for you, I guess is the question.
I just disagree. I mean, the Empire as a unit is not what it once was, but certainly Moff Gideon doesn't seem like super understaffed. He's got a light cruiser. He's got these killer Terminator droids. Like, I feel like he's enough of a threat to make the season work.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's a step ahead of everyone at all times, and that's what makes him scary. That's what made him scary when he showed up in season 1 and suddenly had read the Wikipedia entry on all of them. And then, in this season, even when they were attacking the cruiser was a step ahead. And really the only thing that saved him was Melty Luke showing up. And if he's in custody, that probably makes him worse in a way. Like if he's just sitting in a New Republic, prison ship somewhere, that probably makes him scarier.
And also, I guess I don't know. For me, the series is the fun of Din going around to different places and interacting with other people. I'm not super worried about whether or not the Empire feels super intimidating, because for me, that's just not the fun of the series anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the point they were trying to make, which was a weird one, was Empire, Republic, it don't matter. Things are always the same out here on the Outer Rim, which is okay. I think they kind of went a few times. I was trying to find in my notes because I started tracking it of the amount of times that they're yeah, the New Republic's not just as bad, but it doesn't make a difference who's in charge, which was a choice.
Which is definitely a weird thing for Star Wars of all things to say, when the point of Star Wars was it sure does make a difference who's in charge.
Yeah, but to their defense, I would say I think that's also this point in history. We're at the beginning of the New Republic, and so there's a lot of skepticism. I mean, these are people who've lived under this autocratic regime for decades now. So like it would feel unnatural if it was just like things are so much better right away, you know, like I feel like they're kind of organically trying to make it like, and also laying the groundwork for what we know will happen, which is the First Order swooping in and taking back over. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that it's interesting that they're doing that. It's I think that's cooler and more thoughtful than the other thing they could have done, which is
I do agree. There has to be some shaky ground for, you know, because like JJ said, you know, like the First Order, the idea is like, what if the Third Reich was hanging out in Central America and all of a sudden, like, bam, we're back. So there does have to be some shaky, like, I don't know, like people pissed off enough because they didn't get their Mon Mothma stimulus checks or whatever, that they could kind of like get their hooks back in. So yeah. And also, like Danielle said, that I don't think Big Bad is the point of this. I think
no, we got to get to Thrawn. Where's Thrawn? That Thrawn.
That's the Ahsoka show.
Yeah. All right. So next question. Wayward Mind asks, I saw someone say above they don't know where the Mandalorian goes without Grogu. If that's true for the show, then the show was a failure from the start, wasn't it? To put that in a smaller package, can the show succeed without Grogu? What do you think?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure it just depends on do they have a cool, interesting new direction in mind. But I don't think Grogu, you have to have that. Really, I think he'll be back at some point. But I think I could see Mando do something else for a season or two.
Yeah, I don't care so much, though. I mean, they can make me care with storytelling, but I don't really care about him retaking Mandalore, and it's like, oh, he touched the sword first, so he's the sword guy, and they gotta do the sword fight. Like, that's not as compelling to me as like him taking care of this little cute factory. So I'm concerned, but I'm sure they could cook up, you know, something even cuter in the lab.
I'm wondering if he goes to visit Grogu and he walks in on Luke panicking because Grogu has a dark. Luke sees Grogu eat a frog egg and immediately just tries to decapitate.
Tries to kill him.
And so Jin just gets his buddy out of there real quick.
I mean, I'm assuming towards the end of season 3, there's going to be some. You got to go
Grogu.
get Grogu. Yeah, I don't think he's out of the show permanently. I think we're gonna have a few arcs without him, and then he'll be back.
All right, final question. Frostbite talks a lot about how Bill Burr was one of the highlights. It's more than a typical filler episode. Best acted, most interesting ones of the whole show. Was Bill Burr your favorite side character? And if not, who was your favorite person on the side that popped in this season?
I mean, I think number one for me, Boba Fett. It was so cool to see that character finally get to be cool and like do action and not be, you know, like a cool guy in armor who disappears and gets murked right away. But I did like Mayfeld a lot, and I thought Bill Burr really did a nice job with the material, so I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think probably the Marshal for me. I want to say Sasha Banks because I know everyone's going to expect me to say Sasha Banks. And yes, Sasha was very, very cool. I don't remember what her in character name is. It doesn't matter because she's Sasha Banks. She did Tornado DDT. It was awesome. But it was amazing and it changed my life. But I think it was the Marshal was probably my favorite of the side characters.
You mean the Kim's Convenience dude?
No, Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
Sorry. In my head, I've rolled the Kim's Convenience guy into Marshals of the New Republic.
Right.
If you haven't watched Kim's Convenience, watch it. He's great in it, and a very sweet follow on Twitter. But
he's the older X-wing pilot from the New Republic.
Yeah, who was wondering about Alderaan.
Right. Yeah, he's the guy who asks dumb questions about Alderaan.
I'm gonna Boba Fett probably. Just I don't know. There was something cool. Danielle knows that my favorite type of wrestler is the dad bod luchador that should probably retire, you know, and like Boba Fett coming in and rocking a blue demon Rey Mysterio in their 40s, like a dad bod frame with like the haka skirt kind of thing he had going on was dope. Like that was super awesome. But if not him, the ice spider. That was
the ice spider. Yeah, I like the spiders. I know people have some real spider problems. And I think I have a normal amount of spider problem, which is like, I don't love them. Don't love to see one on your face, but like, it's not something I think about very often. They made those spiders terrifying. My God, that was a real toothy anus spider if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
So props to the creature design team there, or how dare you to the creature design
Well,
team.
that
there if
was
it scarred you.
originally, I believe Ralph McQuarrie originally did the concept art for those for Empire Strikes Back, and they just didn't get used.
Oh,
and
great.
it sat on a shelf for all those years, and so that's why it's so delightfully designed.
Man, that guy could tooth up an orifice.
He knew how to tooth up an anus.
That's got to be one of the most fun parts about making a show like that is you just get let into the dusty old unused concept art room, and someone goes, make a 20-minute Western out of that. Like, that's got to be such a fun job. Sorry.
Someday, let's go back to the lab and start putting some anus spiders together out of clay and see what we come up with. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Sorry the show wasn't live today. We should be back live next week as we cover another Honest trailer. I wouldn't say it's Star Wars, but it is star-crossed. So check out that one when we come back next week for more Honest Trailers commentaries. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.